Hi, my name is Cassie Coes, and I'm the Associate Director of Marketing for Vaco Cincinnati. I'm joined today by Team Lead and Senior Director of Technical Recruiting, Jason Hamberg. Today, we're going to discuss resume building and interview tips in the virtual world. Thanks for joining me, Jason.
Hey, thanks for having me, Cassie.
Yeah. So my first question for you today, what are the top 3 resume tips for candidates of any skill set or background that are in the job market today?
Yeah, Cassie, this crisis has touched so many people, forcing many professionals into the job market unexpectedly. I'm excited to be able to share a few tips and tricks that I've learned over the years to help get you back on your feet and back into the workforce quickly. The first tip is your resume can be more than one page, especially for seasoned candidates. I'm not sure who put out there that your resume needs to be just one page, but for seasoned professionals, you have multiple years under your belt as well as projects. When creating the body of your resume, make sure that you put some quantitative data into the bullet points. For example, if you're a project manager, talk about the time or the money savings that you had during a project that you led. For developers, make sure that you list in the body of your resume the technologies that you utilized and where you utilized them. I've seen people list either on the side of their resume or at the top with the technologies that they've utilized, and it doesn't tell a hiring manager how many years of experience you've had with that technology or where you used it. Finally, put your resume on the job boards. I do recommend Career Builder and Dice specifically for technical people. Once you have your resume out on the job board, make sure that you link up with about 2 to 3 recruiters, as recruiters are the individuals that'll be able to get your resume in front of hiring managers and give you some feedback on your resume or on your skill set. Once you've done all of that, make sure that your LinkedIn is up to date as well. In the career section, make sure that you have 2 to 3 bullet points that are listed that talk about the project or the technologies that you've utilized. Your LinkedIn does not need to match your resume 100%, but it just needs to mirror it. Make sure also that the dates on your LinkedIn do match up with the dates on your resume.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. And I am so happy that you mentioned LinkedIn and keeping that up to date. This is where you market yourself, right? And so a lot of you may ask the question, do I have to have a picture on my LinkedIn profile? And the answer is yes, you do. And make sure that picture is a clear and good representation of you. Some of you may have not had the opportunity to get a professional headshot, but that doesn't mean you don't have a photo of just yourself and your face that you can post on there. So that's super crucial to include on your LinkedIn profile, as well as what Jason said, to include your most up-to-date recent project that you've worked on. Very, very important. So that leads me to my next question. What are some virtual interview tips that you have for folks out there today?
Yeah, more and more companies are going to the virtual interview. So definitely treat the virtual interview as you would an on-site or in-person interview. Make sure that you dress nice for those interviews, whether it be a button-down shirt, tie, jacket, blouse, or maybe even a nice dress. The other tip I like to share with people is to make sure that you do a test prior to your virtual interview and make sure that your camera and that your microphone are working. There's nothing worse than a candidate getting into a virtual interview and having to fumble around and figure out if their mic or their camera is working or not. The other thing that I like to share is when you are doing a interview, make sure that you do look into the camera, speak loudly and clearly so that the interviewer can understand your answers. Lastly, I'd like to share some do nots. Do not Google answers while you're doing your virtual interview. We can see your hands, we can see exactly what you're doing, and we can hear the typing of the keyboard when you're Googling your answers. Also, don't wear earbuds or headphones. And lastly, do not have somebody else trying to answer the questions for you while you're trying to lip sync the answers. I've seen it done and it always ends poorly.
Jeez.
Finally, make sure that your background is clean and crisp. Be in a quiet room where you don't have distractions, like screaming kids or even a cat walking in between you and the camera. And also be aware of your surroundings, like open closets with laundry spilling out or an old college poster hanging on your wall of a 90s rock band. Even though, Cassie, we do know there were some great rock bands in the 90s.
I will have to take your word for it. So there you have it. You've heard from this industry veteran that has given tips and been able to help us through this time. So if you do have any questions or are looking for more guidance on your resume or in a virtual interview, please do reach out to us. Reach out to Jason, reach out to myself, or anybody else at Vaco. We are here for you during this time and we're happy to help. Thanks so much, guys.